Good afternoon, Afro friends and family. Welcome to another edition of Afro News at Noonish. Now, this is your editorial team here today to talk about some weekend highlights and some upcoming headlines. All right, Aria, what do you have for us? What were some of the headlines that caught your eye this weekend?
This weekend, I saw that apparently, and I'm hoping that this is true, we can anticipate the price of eggs dropping. I'm really hoping so. If that's the case, I'll definitely be looking to do some coverage on that. For the coming week, though, we do have a series of articles coming out about how we as African Americans tell our story, of course, for our special edition for Black History Month. And I was able to sit down with some people this weekend and talk to them about how we as African Americans tell our stories through Black fashion and hair. And then the other one is about modern griots. So, keeping this art of storytelling alive and how we're continuing to do that, even if it's not quite verbal storytelling, but maybe do different forms of art and even social media. So that is what you guys can anticipate this week, as well as on Afro cooking. We've got a blueberries in the snow recipe, something nice and comforting in case you don't have somebody for Valentine's Day. And then on Thursday's episode of Afro Cooking Live, we'll be making stuffed buffalo chicken meatballs. So I know that Lent is coming up and some people give up meat entirely and only eat fish. I'm not that disciplined. So I'm trying to offer a couple of recipes that aren't quite red meat or pork. So that's what you guys can definitely look forward to.
Cool. Thank you for those updates. I cannot wait to look at this next edition of the show Cooking with You. I'm going to be looking for some vegan recipes pretty soon. I'm not vegan, but I think you can inspire me to take that step and to find some tasty recipes that are vegan. So thank you, Aria. Tashi, what do you have for us? What's happening in the political arena?
All right. So in the political arena, I'll start in Annapolis. So in Annapolis, at 5 p.m. today, another slew of the governor's executive nominations is being heard by the Executive Nominations Committee in the Senate. So the Maryland Senate is required to review and interview nominees before they can be confirmed in their positions. So in Annapolis, there will also be an appropriations meetings, various ones, throughout the House and the Senate for the various committees. So the actual general body session does not start till 8 p.m., but throughout the day, there will be various committee meetings. And through those appropriation meetings, they will either confirm or reapportion the governor's budget proposal, which we received earlier, like a few weeks ago. So yeah, they just break it down through committees, and they'll go through and decide whether such entities as the Department of Veteran Affairs or the Department of Human Services, what they will get. And yeah, so that's mainly what's going on in Annapolis this week, as well as, of course, various hearings about many bills about firearms and marijuana, of course. And so, yeah, those are great things to look out for. And as for Baltimore City, today there will be an inclusionary housing meeting for Baltimore City. It'll be mostly procedural, but definitely still something to pay attention to. And it will be at 5 p.m.
All right, and also today we have Congressman Kwesi Mfume. He will be meeting with the Afro team out at the Upton Mansion to discuss the $2 million earmark that will help us get the Upton Mansion renovations complete. And I am looking forward to joining him and his staff this afternoon. I'll go ahead and step in here. We cannot talk about this weekend without talking about the Super Bowl. I don't care who won. Rihanna won. Rihanna won. She's the winner. She won the Super Bowl, but no, congratulations to the Chiefs. I know Kansas City is going off right now. So congratulations to them. But what did y'all think of the Super Bowl? Tashi, I know you said this year was your first year actually watching it before we started the call. So what did you think of it?
Yeah, so it was great to watch for sure. It was kind of like they were just going back and forth making points. Like even in the first 4 minutes, I believe the Eagles made points. And it was very it was a great show to watch. I'll say it was definitely entertainment. And I also enjoyed I also enjoyed Rihanna's performances. I know some people were kind of like, oh, she didn't do too much. She didn't physically move around too much, but I thought it was really great. And also considering that she was pregnant, and she did announce that she was pregnant. So that was very monumental. And all of her songs are pretty much like a hit. They just brought me through my childhood, honestly. I just remember like listening to Diamonds on replay again and again. So yeah, that was just a great moment last night as well. And I remember, what was it? It definitely was interesting to see some of the plays towards the end, because I believe the Eagles, they dropped the ball in this weird way, considering that it was, Super Bowl. They dropped the ball, and the Chiefs were able to run it all the way and get a goal, and it definitely switched the turn for the night. And as one of the players at the end were constantly saying, is like, you guys didn't think we were gonna win. You didn't think we were gonna win, but they did win. So definitely a great Super Bowl to watch.
All right, and I want to correct, you said it was your first time in a long time, not the first time you actually watched it.
No. Yes.
Okay.
A long time.
All right.
First time watching the full thing, though.
Okay, sure. Cool. All right, Megan, what did you think of the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, this is another, I also haven't watched it like the full thing in a really long time. But I was rooting for the Eagles, so I was a little sad that they lost. But I thought it was a good game. I hate to see a blowout during a Super Bowl. That's not any fun. I had some friends that had some bets and they won some money, so they were really happy. But mostly I was just excited to see Rihanna's performance, honestly. I was upset because I really wanted to hear Please Don't Stop the Music, and we didn't get to hear that. And we didn't get to hear Pon de Replay, so I was a little upset about that. But all in all, I thought it was a wonderful performance. And I also think both teams really respected one another. And I love seeing Travis and Jason Kelsey, their brothers, and they were on opposite teams. So it was cool to see them face off in the Super Bowl. But all in all, I thought it was a good game. And especially that play at the end when the Chiefs player, he kind of took a knee so that they would run the clock out and they could score that field goal and not give the Eagles a chance to return. So it was just a good game all in all.
Aria, what did you think of Cheryl Lee Ralph's rendition of the Black National Anthem? This is the first time that they've ever included the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl. So for me, I was in tears. Like, I didn't watch it in real time, but I did go back and just Google it so that I could see what happened. And I was boo-hooing by the end of it. But Aria, what did you think about it?
Well, first off, I love the bag that Cheryl Lee Ralph has been securing recently. She's been getting a lot of recognition despite being a legend for a long time. So I was really happy to see that they decided to let her sing the Black National Anthem. I was amazed and super duper excited to see that they let the Black National Anthem get sung. Earlier, me and Megan had noted that the Super Bowl was always during Black History Month, and y'all ain't never did this before, but y'all letting it happen now, we approve. Her performance, I think it was very theatrical. I know that she has a background on Broadway. Of course, she's the original Dream Girl. And I think that she brought a lot of that presence to the performance yesterday. I personally, though, would have loved to have seen a performance like this have been executed by somebody who's kind of known for, like, not that she's not known for her vocal strength, like to be on Broadway, you evidently have to be able to bring it, but somebody who's maybe more so known for singing. Jasmine Sullivan. By the way, NFL. So like next year, maybe like Jasmine Sullivan or something like that, or even I feel like she doesn't get a lot of recognition, but like Melanie Fiona, she can sing her tail off, Fantasia, something like that. But for the first time having had the Black National Anthem sung, I think that it was done really well. And I think that it was very fitting for Black History Month. She had a choir behind her. She was wearing this very opulent gown. Black folks are the peacocks of people. And so we just have to do the utmost. And she absolutely did. Overall, a round of applause. Absolutely. I enjoyed it.
Yes, I loved it. And when that choir came in, like it was so perfect. It set the mood. So yes, I agree. It was a bit theatrical, but it was the first time. So I think she gets a pass, especially given her background. So yeah, absolutely a show from beginning to end. And congrats to the Chiefs and congrats to Rihanna on this second baby. All right, Megan, what highlights do you have for us this week?
Yeah, so actually on Friday, I had the opportunity to head down to DC. President Biden and Vice President Harris invited members of the Black press to come and hear kind of a debriefing of the State of the Union. It was pretty exciting. It was my first time at the White House for a press event. And we had different members of Biden's cabinet kind of just come and discuss the different factors of the State of the Union. So we talked a little bit about the economy, how it's recovering from the pandemic. We also talked about if there's going to be a recession in 2023. A lot of Americans are worried about that. The word is that they don't think that there's going to be a recession. So hopefully that's what happens. And they also expect that interest rates are going to continue to decline. There are going to be some bumps in the road where we will see them rise a little bit, but they think all in all, we're in a good place. Some other things we kind of talked about during the day, the infrastructure bill, it's $1 trillion bill. Maryland already, I believe, has nearly $8 million from that, and counties across the country can actually compete for, I believe, up to $100 million from that bill. So we talked about what's going to be done with that, how it's going to affect communities, and especially kind of increase job opportunities for different populations. We also talked a little bit about national security with the war in Ukraine, how the US is supporting Ukraine and how much of our dollars are going to kind of help Ukraine defend itself. And then one other really important thing that we discussed during the day was police reform. There was talk of Tyree Nichols. There was talk of the George Floyd bill for police reform, and kind of just the administration's commitment to engaging in police reform. But the hard thing is, especially, and this was kind of the lesson from the day, is that the federal government can really only do so much when it comes to police reform. What we really need is for state governments to take it seriously, and it can be hard in certain states where you have people not recognizing that maybe there are some problems within the police force or local police forces. But all in all, it was a great day to hear from everybody in the cabinet. And at the end of the day, they actually surprised us and took us over to the Oval Office, and I met President Biden and Vice President Harris. It was an amazing experience. I kind of felt like it wasn't real. It didn't really set in until we were shaking their hands, but it was really great to meet them.
Oh, wow, Megan. Thank you for that update, and congratulations for completing your first assignment at the White House. So you actually got to shake President Biden's hand.
Yes, I did.
Oh, I'm jealous. Oh, wow. That is an amazing experience. And I think it's just really important to note that the AFRO is trying to increase its presence at the White House. And thank you so much for helping us do that. We've had quite a few people make visits over the past year, and we absolutely appreciate all the help that they've given reaching out to invite us. So thank you, Erica Lowe, and everyone at the White House who sent that invitation. All right. One last thing, I did want to get some opinions on this. So the family members of Emmett Till, I guess for my highlight, a story that I'm following is this arrest warrant that was found in the basement. In a basement there of a courtroom down south. They have an arrest warrant that was actually never served for Carolyn Bryant. Now that is the woman who allegedly claimed that Emmett Till whistled at her or made some remark, and she relayed that to her husband. And we know the rest of the story. We know how they punished this 14-year-old boy for such an innocent act that she claimed took place. And so because of her role, because of her hand in the death of Emmett Till, there was an arrest warrant that was actually issued back in 1955, and it was never served. It's been sitting in this box in the bottom of this courthouse for decades, and the family is actually now suing to have this arrest warrant served to this woman who is, of course, now up in age. What do y'all think about this?
I mean, here's the thing. I know people are going to look and think because she is up in age that maybe it should just be let go, but I disagree with that entirely. I don't think that's true at all. I think that she should be served with that arrest warrant.
To further Megan's point, I agree. I think that she should be served a warrant. Furthermore, I think that she should be sentenced to jail time. To be frank, I think that what she did, the actions that followed her, she might have thought was something minor, as we all know, is set within our history, and it's unforgivable. Truth be told, even if they put the casket behind bars, if she died tomorrow, I say give her some time. She needs to go to jail in some way, shape, or form. Justice needs to be served.
Ari, did you just say put the casket
Yes,
behind the bars?
if they think that cremating her is gonna get her out of it, put
Girl.
put it into the cement as you build a new jail. I don't care what you do.
Listen, I'm with it. Okay. I am so with it, because if she is still living and breathing, then that means that she can still answer for her actions on that day. And we know that Emmett Till is not here. Like, he didn't get a chance to live out his life. He didn't get a chance to realize any of his potential. And so I'm for it. Like, they need to serve this arrest warrant. Whoever had a hand in suppressing it, if they're still alive, they need to go down too. So yeah, I mean, people think that this is so far away. And I remember reading an article a few years ago where they talked about how, because the pictures are in black and white and the video is in black and white, that sometimes we think, oh, it's just such a long time ago, but it's not. Like, the people from the 50s and 60s are still here. They're your lawmakers. Like, they're elected officials, they're community leaders. And she is still alive and kicking. So, my thing is, it was not that long ago. He could still be alive and breathing right now if she had never, set that case and those events into action. So I agree, Aria. Tashi, what do you think?
I suppose I would just echo the sentiment there. Yeah, it's never too late to serve justice, honestly. That's mostly what it comes down to, no matter her age.
Yeah, and she's in her 80s now. So, I mean, I know a lot of 80-year-olds who are of sound mind. They are, they're able to answer for their actions and take responsibility for what they do. And she should have that same chance to answer for her actions back in 1955. So, all right, well, the AFRO will be following that case. We'll have coverage of that lawsuit. We actually have spoken with some cousins of Emmett Till in past coverage from last year. And so we'll be following up, making sure that we stay on top of that case. I want all the pressure that can be applied, put on the elected officials down there, because they absolutely have to make that right. And it's been such a miscarriage of justice that in 2023, they really should be taking any opportunity they can to make that right. So we'll get off the soapbox. This isn't chicken box. We'll save the rest of that for another day. But thank you for joining us for another edition of Afro News at Noonish. And you can follow us on Twitter, IG, Facebook, all the social medias. Make sure you check out more of our coverage on afro.com as well. Thank you.